necessary to thrive as an entrepreneur and citizen in the Evergreen State. I would like to share with you the vision of my candidacy and the challenges facing us. Our Washington State government desperately needs to redefine its public policy. The current path of partisan politics and special interests is unable to serve the public good to its full potential. To formulate a new public policy, this state must rely on the wisdom of our founders and listen to the poignant observations of our critics. In addition, alternative solutions must be embraced to solve our most complex problems. The foundation of a new public policy is education. To invest in our future, we must begin with the youth of the state. Current goals set by past and present administrations must be fulfilled and extended. The Washington State government and its citizens need to place a higher priority on education to ensure a better standard of our community. New curriculum should be introduced to provide the students of today with the tools to solve the problems of tomorrow. We need higher standards such as cutting classroom size and integrating technology. Along with the new curriculum, there needs to be a parent and community involvement in the guiding of today's youth. A large majority of the students fall through the cracks in today's current system. With the integration of school-sponsored parent involvement program, utilizing the strength of our community and business leaders, students can receive more focused attention and the help they need to not just survive, but succeed in school. The current program, Head Start, is great, though must be expanded to truly help solve the problems in our education system. The creation of a new public policy will not succeed unless the issue of education is solved. Society must understand that the decay of education leads to the decay of society. Our students need help now. Current conditions cannot be solved by the government alone. The public must be involved. We need each other and every community to provide a higher level of education to their youth. This support must come in the form of parental and mentor involvement in school functions and better support for school funding. Our Washington State community can be a guiding force to find solutions to our problems. The time is optimal for the return to a community which promotes local involvement in area activities. We talk about how much closer the communities were in the past, when people knew their next-door neighbor, involved themselves in community issues, and celebrated their successes. The education of all our children will mean more than just a catchy slogan on a bumper sticker. The education of our children will mean we make tough decisions about the collection and allocation of tax resources for the betterment of all. The education of our children will mean we look past our differences and focus on our similarities. The caring about our community as a whole will save as many a person from the deep abyss of disparity. Resolutions to these problems can be identified and enacted easier with the help of the community. A moral code will develop that personifies the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. People will notice who they are hurting or helping in the bigger picture, will recognize they are only hurting or helping themselves. This community ideal is quite utopian, but is attainable through the proper leadership which surely has been missing in the state over the past decades. A community will not become a caring society without focused leadership. The lack of leadership is a problem which this state must come to terms with. Corruption and lack of consensus must be eliminated for a decisive leader to take action on the issues facing our community. Strong leaders founded this country, such as Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, and sustained this country, such as Franklin Roosevelt. However, the recent lack of leadership, both at the local and national levels, have degraded our community and society. We must clean up our government. The process of lobbying by special interest groups must be changed. Their voices should be heard by the politicians, but their monetary contributions should be banned. A politician who reaches office through the contributions of a lobbyist will be unable to serve the public and implement public policy effectively. Since the only way to attain office in this current day is through the spending of a large amount of money, the public needs to take back control of the public officials through their own personal contributions, rather than that of big business or large interest groups. Government needs to return to the dawn of this country, when true leaders, able to reach government not by their purse strings, but by their intelligence and compatibility with the electorate. In order for this state to make such radical change in its public policy, a charismatic leader must emerge that can engage the legislature and the communities. All strong leaders in this country's past have proven to meet these great expectations. They have provided new directions for this country to go towards and fulfill. The current dilemma is how to produce such a leader. This burden of selection is placed upon the public. The public must be actively involved in the selection of their leaders. The community is an excellent avenue for the public participation in the selection process. The current political parties either need to be eradicated or redefined to actively address current problems and look to the future. Unfortunately, the parties are as politically corrupt as the current government. They are unable to decisively place a leader with the qualities needed to lead the state into the next decade. More public involvement is required for the political process of selection. Grassroots efforts are what successfully built this country and periodically are necessary to sustain it. The time is crucial for the redevelopment of our state's public policy. Communities must define their priorities and collaborate in order to build for their future. Education is the cornerstone of our fundamental shift in our priorities as a society. With these two changes, our state can focus on the deficiency of leadership for the past half-century. Closer communities and better educated youth will be able to reform the political selection process. This reformation will allow the discovery of great individuals who do exist but have been left out because of the corruption. Leaders who act on principles rather than campaign contributions are needed for the success of this state through the 21st century. Great leaders and philosophers have shaped the world over the ages. Staying the course will not do this in this ever-changing society. With technological advances and political change, the state must adapt. This state is not looking for a messiah, but does need a person which has the attributes to bring citizens together, such as Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln. I am not them, but I do subscribe to their philosophies and ideals. During their times, they were faced with turmoil and lack of consensus, but they were able to overcome and unite. In the end, they left us with a stronger, more coherent entity. Leadership is important to society, and society becomes lost without it. With a new public policy and great leadership, this state can become a world leader in all areas, including taking care of its own people. On August 19th, I ask for your vote to start the change for Washington. Vote Christopher Tudor.
My name is James White. Who is James White, you say? I was born in Seattle with 8 brothers and sisters. Now I have my lovely wife, Dory, and 4 sons, Craig, Jeff, Daniel, and Brian. Growing up in the Seattle area, I spent most of my time from elementary school to high school working with my older brother after school landscaping. I spent my summers in the Yakima Valley living with my older sister and working in corn, wheat, and hay fields. I've worked hard my whole life and have always taken time for family, whether it was working all day and then driving to the other side of the state for a graduation of a family member, or traveling halfway around the world to see my brother. I have always had a passion for woodworking, motorcycle riding,